3,000 years before anyone thought to question it, humans cut wood by hand. Ancient Egyptians did it in 3000 BC with copper blades. The Iron Age sharpened the metal. The method never changed. A man grabs a handle. He pushes and pulls. The tree slowly dies. For millennia, that was the entire technology. Muscle, metal, repetition. In the forests of 1920s Germany, nothing had changed. Two men knelt beside a massive trunk with a long cross-cut saw, one on each end. They pulled back and forth, back and forth. A large tree could take an entire day to fell, then a week of work to cut it into sections small enough to haul out. Only at the sawmill did powered machines exist. The tree travelled to the saw, not the other way around. The men who did this work were called lumberjacks. For centuries, it was one of the lowest status jobs in the world. Hard labour, low pay, high injury, no prestige. This was the world Andreas Stihl was born into on November 10th, 1896 in Zurich, Switzerland. His father was a haulage contractor, a man who moved heavy things from one place to another. From childhood, Stihl understood weight, effort, and the cost of moving things the hard way. He was not a soft person. In 1915, he was conscripted into the German army. 2 years later, battlefield injuries ended his service. He came home. He enrolled in mechanical engineering at Eisenach and graduated in 1920. He spent the next few years consulting on steam engines at sawmills. Every visit put him in front of the same scene: massive stationary machines inside the mill. Outside, men destroying their bodies hauling logs to feed them. In 1926, he opened a workshop in Stuttgart. He was 29 years old. He had a war wound, a mechanical engineering degree, and one idea he could not let go. The saw must go to the tree, not the tree to the saw. He had no investors, no team. To fund his experiments, he sold steam boiler pre-firing systems to industrial facilities. They paid well. Stihl took the money and poured it into the one machine nobody had asked for yet. He built his first prototype by hand. The result was the STG-1, a two-man electric chainsaw patented in 1926. It weighed 64 kilograms, 141 pounds. A 2.2 kilowatt direct current motor powered the chain. It could only cut vertically. It could not fell a standing tree. It was strictly for trimming felled logs in mill yards where electricity was available. By every modern standard, it was a crude machine. But it was the first electric chainsaw ever built anywhere in the world. And it worked. Stihl set a rule that would define the company for the next century. He would only sell through specialist dealers, people trained to service what they sold. Not hardware stores, specialists. The chainsaw was a serious tool. It demanded serious support. Sales in 1927 came to 50 units. Small, but real. Real money. Real proof. He opened his first factory in Stuttgart. He hired his first 2 employees. Both stayed with him for decades. But Stihl already knew the electric saw had a ceiling. It needed a power cord. Power cords needed power sources. Power sources did not exist in the woods. And the woods were where the work actually happened. In 1929, he unveiled the Stihl Type A, his first gasoline-powered chainsaw. It weighed 46 kilograms and produced 6 horsepower. It was still a two-man saw. But it could go anywhere. The electric saw stayed in the yard. The Type A went to the tree. The reaction was immediate. As Stihl described it himself, the saws were grabbed out of his hands. The first exports went to Switzerland, the Netherlands, Belgium, France, then Russia, then North America. In 1931, Stihl became the first European company to export chainsaws to both the United States and the Soviet Union. The same forest problem, one German machine. Then the Great Depression arrived. Timber demand fell. Companies stopped buying equipment. The logical response was to cut production and wait. Stihl did neither. He pivoted. He used his factory capacity to manufacture washing machines, a consumer product people still needed during hard times. The chainsaw business slowed. The company did not. Then came the war. In 1933, Andreas Stihl joined the Nazi Party. In 1935, he joined the Allgemeine SS. He was not called for military service. He ran his factory. By 1941, the company employed 340 people, producing chainsaws for a nation at war. The company also used forced labour. Approximately 40 foreign workers per year were employed between 1939 and 1943. In 1943 and 1944, Allied bombing raids struck Bad Cannstatt. The factory was badly damaged. On May 8, 1945, Germany surrendered. Allied forces arrested Andreas Stihl. His company was seized. He was interned in a Bavarian labour camp for 3 years. In 1948, a denazification tribunal classified him as a Mitläufer, a follower, the lowest liability category. He was released. His company was returned to him. The classification was controversial. Many industrialists who had profited from the regime received the same low ruling. But the legal process was complete. He walked out of the camp at 51 years old. His factory had been bombed. His workforce had collapsed from 500 to 80. The German economy was in ruins. He went back to Weiblingen. He went back to work. The saw still had to go to the tree. That had not changed. The world had burned down around the idea, and the idea was still there, waiting. He started where he always started, with the machine. The target was simple. One man, one saw. No partner. In 1950, Stihl released the BL, the company's first petrol-driven chainsaw for single-person operation. It was significant. But significant did not mean simple. The BL was still heavy, still exhausting. Stihl kept working. In 1954, the BLK arrived. It weighed 31 pounds and produced 4.5 horsepower. For the first time in chainsaw history, a gasoline-powered saw was genuinely portable. 2 years later, the German army adopted it as its official chainsaw. The saw had passed the harshest procurement test in the world. But Stihl was not looking for footing. He was looking for the breakthrough. It arrived in 1959. The machine was called the Contra. It weighed 12 kilograms, 26.5 pounds, and produced 6 horsepower. Every chainsaw before it had a gearbox. Gears add weight. Gears add complexity. Gears fail. The Contra eliminated the gearbox entirely. Direct drive. Engine power straight to the chain. Lighter, simpler, more reliable. The Contra also carried a diaphragm carburetor. Earlier saws relied on gravity to feed fuel. Tilt them too far and the engine starved. The diaphragm carburetor used a flexible membrane. Fuel fed regardless of the saw's angle. A lumberjack could hold the Contra in any position. Horizontal, vertical, inverted, and the engine kept running. This sounds like a small technical detail. In a forest, it was everything. The work dictated the tool's orientation before the Contra. With the Contra, the operator moved freely. The tool followed. The work dictated nothing. Forestry companies measured the result precisely. Productivity increased by up to 200%, not marginally, not slightly. 200%. Stihl's daily production jumped from 104 saws to 500 by 1964. The workforce surpassed 1,500 by 1969. In 1959, Husqvarna entered the chainsaw market for the first time. Competitors had noticed. The global chainsaw market was no longer a niche. It was a mass industrial category. And Stihl had defined its terms. The Contra's effect was not just commercial, it was social. For centuries, the lumberjack had been the lowest worker in the forest. The chainsaw changed that. The disdained day labourer became a skilled machine operator, a specialist running a precision tool. The profession gained dignity it had never had. Stihl kept innovating. In the 1960s, the company became the first to equip its saws with anti-vibration handle systems, eliminating the nerve damage operators had suffered for decades. The industry had spent 30 years making saws more powerful. Stihl was now making them less damaging. In 1971, 2 years before his death, Andreas Stihl transferred leadership to his son, Hans Peter. The factory was producing 340,000 chainsaws per year. That same year, Stihl became the largest chainsaw manufacturer in the world, a position it has not surrendered since. On January 14th, 1973, Andreas Stihl died in Weiblingen. He was 76 years old. 5 generations in, Stihl has never been sold, never gone public, never passed outside the family that built it. Today it manufactures in 7 countries. Annual revenues exceed $4 billion. The workforce exceeds 18,000 people. Stihl has been the world's top-selling chainsaw brand every single year since 1971. The man who started this built his first prototype alone in a Stuttgart workshop, with no investors, no team, and no guarantee that anyone would ever buy what he was making. He was running on one observation: Men were hauling trees to machines. The machines should go to the trees instead. That idea was not complicated. It did not require genius, it required someone unwilling to accept the existing answer. 3,000 years of hand sawing ended not with a government program or a corporate research division. It ended with one engineer, one workshop, and one idea he refused to put down.